Greetings to the Lunar Matrix. This is Elizabeth Shermer with an intuitive reading for the Lunar Matrix on Monday, October 8th. Today's reading covers the period of time from today's last quarter moon, which occurred a little after midnight today, and runs through next week's new moon, which occurs on Monday, October 15th at 5:03 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The week of the last quarter moon always represents a really special opportunity to integrate recent expansions and healing and understandings and manifestations in order to prepare for the new wave of manifesting energy that will arrive at the planet next week with the new moon. So this week is a very valuable time for coming to clarity and making decisions about what you will carry forward in your life and what you will release. There's a special opportunity this week following the equinox to come to clarity about relationships in your life and what qualities of relationship need to be nurtured and healed in order to move forward, and what qualities of relationship need to be released. And more important than the actual relationships are, what's significant here are your own approaches to relationships, meaning your perception of what's actually happening in your relationships with others. So that's the key focus this week in terms of making decisions, is clarifying your perceptions and your intuitive guidance around the quality of connections in your life and where you can come to new understandings and new patterns of your ability to participate intentionally and positively and constructively in the relationships you have with others, both intimate and professional and groups. It's relationships at all levels. So that's the theme of the astrological chart for today's last quarter moon. And in preparation for the tarot reading today for this week's guidance, I asked for clarity about how we can best access the potentials this week around clarity of relationships and access to our own clear intuitive guidance for moving forward. Remember that the theme this month that was released with the seed of the last new moon was the frequency of optimism. And the frequency of optimism this month has expanded to special potentials with the full moon for us to access joy and happiness. So underlying all of this is our ability to expand into appreciation through optimism and authentic happiness. Lots of information. Here's the tarot reading to give some guidance into all of these potentials and themes. So the card all the way to the left today is the Two of Discs. You see it as an 8 if you see if you're looking at the image, and the 8 represents balance and evolution in a harmonious way. And the Two of Discs is a card that represents healthy, balanced, expansive change in the world. And in the position of body, it doubly amplifies that message that there's an opportunity right now for harmonious change. And it has to do with changing habits, changing our ability to be in balance, and specifically through releasing perceptions of duality so that we can embrace polarities. And if you can see the two yin-yang symbols in the centers of the 8, it has to do with releasing the idea that there's a right or a wrong or a good or a bad, and embracing the full spectrum of experience so that we can come into balance. The card in the center, the King or Knight of Swords, represents the mastery of objectivity and clarity and a balanced perspective, ability to rise above circumstances in order to see the big picture. This king or knight is known as the communicator, meaning that from a place of big picture, we are able to access higher awareness. And this card today is in the position of mind or awareness. So both cards are representing an ability for us to be in balance in our body and in our physical experience, and also balance in our mind or our awareness. Now, interestingly, when I drew the cards today, these two cards came up reversed. I worked with the potentials of both of them, and then I turned the third card, which is the Eon. In many decks, this card is called Judgment. And this card is the key to unlocking the first two potentials. So the Two of Discs change in reversal today means that we have a tendency to be stuck right now in old perceptions, old approaches, old experiences, and a dualistic thinking. The Knight or King of Swords reversed represents difficulty in accessing big picture, meaning our intuition and our guidance, so that we can see the whole picture. So it's a tendency to get stuck in limited perceptions of what's actually happening. And our ability to expand into this potential of the Eon is what will unlock the other two cards. The Eon represents, its traditional name is Judgment. It represents clear judgment. It's an ending of old perceptions and ways of seeing things or perceiving things or experiencing things and beginning something brand new. It's the next to the last card in the cycle of the major arcana, and it represents coming to a culmination of all that's gone before. In the position of spirit, this card especially represents the divine law of attraction. In our ability to expand into big picture means that we're available to unlimited potentials and unlimited possibilities, and rather than limited perceptions or limited experiences of what's really possible in our lives. So this card and this reading is a direct expression of the astrological chart for this week. And what the teaching here is that if we are able to use our tools to expand into our guidance, which is represented by the Eon, higher guidance, higher frequencies of spiritual support, it will lead to expanded awareness, expanded perceptions of big picture, which is the King of Swords, and in our body or in our physical experience, an ability to embrace big picture, embrace polarity, meaning the whole range of possibilities, and access much more creativity. And what that will lead to this week in a very practical way is our ability to identify new ways to understand our relationships, new ways to make decisions moving forward about how we will nurture our connections to self and other. It will lead to a new sense of creativity. And the way to access this frequency this week is through optimism and appreciation. In very simple ways, in the moment, whenever you feel yourself being stuck or frustrated or finding yourself repeating old perceptions or old habits of how things are working in your life in relationship to yourself or others, take a breath and access the feeling of appreciation. And then that simple point of decision and will open you to the frequencies that are available this month of optimism and happiness that will put you into alignment with the potentials of what is. So this reading felt very clear to me and complete. I always like to draw an additional card, and today's additional card for something new to consider or something else to consider is the Ace of Discs, the card for manifestation of new form. So this card today is, what is it? It's the affirmation of what's coming, because all the work we're doing this week and our ability to feel inspired with the potentials leads us to be even more prepared and more present for the new moon, which comes next Monday, and the release next Monday morning of a new wave of manifesting potential. So I leave you today with these thoughts and these tools, and I hope that you have a really wonderful week and are able to access your own inspiration and new guidance and new perspectives about what's really possible, so that you can release old habits and old ways of responding. With intentions for the highest and best for all, who are listening and watching. This is Elizabeth Shermer with the Lunar Matrix.